Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Karim Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our class, our Aqidah class. And for this class, we are continuing with the book entitled Diluting Al-Wala Wal-Bara. Al-Wala Wal-Bara. That's the way it's pronounced. Yeah, I finally got it pronounced right. Al-Wala Wal-Bara. For the person listening to me, thank you. Al-Wala Wal-Bara. Okay? Ra is elongated. Okay. All right. Okay. And alhamdulillah, this class is such a great class. Why? Because I tell you guys all the time, Allah is in control of this website. He always has been. That's the only way that we've been able to survive on the internet now since 1986. Oh yeah, we were the first website to use voice technology back in 1986. And I've been teaching the same thing over and over and over again since 1986. My lectures, my videos, my audios are all over the internet. You can see my dawah has never changed. I've always focused on Aqidah, Hadith. You know, that's what we've always focused on here, because without having the correct belief system, nothing else matters. Without the correct belief system, all your good deeds are in vain. The simple fact that a person, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us that a person can never do a good deed in his life. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there will be some people who never, ever, ever did a good deed in their life. They never prayed. They never fasted, were abusive to their relatives. But the simple fact that they really believed in Allah and never associated partners with him, that person will be eventually forgiven of his sins and allowed into paradise. Yes, he may have to pay. He may have to pay to the piper, but eventually he'll be removed from the hellfire, because even though he never, ever, ever did a good deed in his life, he believed in Allah. That's something. And that hadith shows us that belief in Allah, having the correct Aqidah. This man, this person will be forgiven because his Aqidah, her Aqidah is correct. They didn't associate partners with Allah. They understood you know, what Wal Bara is, their allegiance, even though they never did a good deed, their allegiance was still to Allah. Their allegiance was still to the Prophet. Their allegiance is still to this religion, this way of life. They didn't compromise their belief. They didn't compromise their allegiance. They just were a bad person. They just gave in to their desires. They just smoked cigarettes. They just, fornicated. They just, but their allegiance was intact. Compare that person to many Muslims today that we know of. It may even be you or me. Look at us. We pray. We fast. We even do the night prayer. We wake up in the middle of the night, but we still don't understand that our allegiance is not to a flag. It's not to a country. We still don't understand that the land does not belong to you or me, that the land belongs to Allah. That's a messed up Aqidah. So all your prayers, all your good deeds, what good is that going to do you on a day of judgment when you think that you are entitled to this earth? That you demand a piece of this earth? Or I do all my prayers, I do all my fasts, I even make Hajj every year, but I don't wear a hijab because I don't believe it's an obligation. I don't believe that Allah commands the Muslim women to cover her head. I don't care what Sister Laila say. I don't care what Kareem Abu Zaid say. I don't care what Dr. Jamali say. I don't care what Sheikh Morsi say. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that verse. So since I don't agree with the hijab, I'm not wearing it, but I do my prayers. I accept that. I do fast Ramadan. All that, the fact that you don't agree with that verse, all your prayers, all your fasts, in vain. Your belief system was not accepted. It was not correct. Unlike that man whose belief system and his allegiance was correct, he just was sinful. You're a person whose belief system is not correct. You still have not learned that Allah is Allah. And that's why it's so important for everyone to attend this class every day, because this is what we specialize in here at Sunnah Followers, the correct belief system. And subhanAllah, this book, this whole series of the right belief system put together by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, in these 3 volumes, the information in these 3 volumes is what I personally have been teaching since 1986 on this internet. It's just that I never used a book. I use my PowerPoints over and over. Okay, but now you have a book to hold on to. And now you have a book where you can see, wow, Laila didn't make this stuff up. Laila didn't make up those hadiths. Oh, Laila didn't make up those verses of the Quran. Her PowerPoint wasn't man-made. I mean, it's man-made, but I didn't make up the wording on it. You get to hold that book in your hand. When you can hold something tangible in your hand and see it, it starts to make sense. What I've been teaching since 1986. And you see that I ain't the only one who believes La ilaha illallah. You got Kareem Abu Zaid and others too. Okay? And what I like about the fact is we are now upon the part of his book. This is the last of the trilogy that speaks about allegiance, how to maintain our Muslim identity, living in a non-Muslim society, a non-Muslim country, dealing with elections. This is the election time of the year for Americans. You got non-Muslim Americans running for president, running for office, public office, to be your leaders over you. You know, we've been discussing how it's so clear There should be no question. All of you should know without a doubt that it is haram. I repeat, it is haram. I repeat, it is haram for any Muslim living on earth to participate in the non-Muslim presidential elections. It's clear. I don't care what no scholars say. I don't care what no four imams say. I don't care what the famous brothers and the famous personalities say, because they don't have that authority. No one has the authority to make anything lawful or unlawful but Allah, and Allah said it's haram. And we've reviewed all those clear verses proving voting in non-Muslim elections for non-Muslim leaders is haram. We've discussed the hadith of the Prophet. It's haram. So today, what I'm going to do is break down this term known as democracy. Those Muslim brothers from out of Texas, that's where they are. They're in Texas. Those Muslim brothers from out of Texas, those Muslim women from out of Washington, from out of New York, and from out of Minnesota and all those other places that's advocating for all Muslims to get up and go out and vote. And let's support this Democratic candidate. This female, first of all, they just said to heck with what the Prophet said. That hadith is so clear. The Prophet said any nation that appoints a woman as its ruler, as its leader, that nation will never, ever succeed. And me being a woman, and I am a woman of empowerment. I am a woman of authority too, because this is my website. You guys learned that. I don't answer to nobody but Allah. I own Sunnah followers. I run this baby. This is Layla's website. I have the final say. That's a position of authority. But Lord have mercy. It's hard. Y'all see, I got anxiety off this hook. I have to go crying to Dr. Dramali. Dramali, she hurt my feelings. Oh, God. Dr. Dramali, she called me out. Ooh, look how many times I got to go run to Dr. Dramali. And he'll say, let me handle this. And Dramali will come in here and take care of the business. Or I got to call Sheikh Morsi. Sheikh Morsi, they challenge me. Sheikh Morsi, they calling me a witch. Sister Layla, okay, just do a Q&A. I'll come in there. Look how I got to run to Dr. Asim. Dr. Asim, they making fun of me because I can't pronounce Mekosidic. Well, Sister Layla, they're ignorant. You can't pronounce it. They probably don't know what it means. You know what it means. I mean, come on. A woman. You know, we women are emotional. We women suffer with PMS even in our older age. Even after the menses, I'm here to let you sisters know PMS doesn't go away. That's our makeup. You know, we always have good days and bad days. We are emotionally imbalanced. When you get older, it turns into anxiety. Oh my God, I can't handle drama. The older you get as a woman, you can the least drama you can handle. That's just the way Allah created us. So that's why a woman can't be a ruler of a country. That's what the Prophet meant. He says, how can a woman be a leader or a ruler when she's got PMS? She's got good days, bad days, up and down. She wasn't created for that. The men were created to be our protectors. The same way I run to Jamali crying. Same way I run to Sheikh Morsi crying. Like a baby. It's literally, y'all. What do y'all think Kamala's going to do when they threaten to shoot bombs at her? Come on. And this whole democracy thing contradicts Islam. As Muslims, we don't believe in a democracy. And today's pages, I posted it up. I hope you guys read the pages, we'll be covering pages 468 through 474. Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd breaks it down so beautifully. Why democracy contradicts la ilaha illallah. Those brothers in Texas and those women political activists that's traveling around, they're probably in your mosque telling y'all to vote. Y'all need to kick them out. Tell them go learn Tawheed. When they come to your mosque wanting to do a workshop on voting, tell them astaghfirullah, go learn Tawheed. Go learn Wal Bara. This is against Islam. We don't participate in non-Muslim elections. The Prophet was clear. Allah is clear. And we're going to talk and break down democracy today. So let's put the PowerPoint. And by the way, the book can be purchased at Amazon. That's why I got it there. You see it? It's called Dilute. That's the book. It looks like that. It's the red book. You see it? Yeah, that's it. Take a picture of it. The book can be purchased at Amazon. It's $19.99. All of Sheikh Kareem's books. And by the way, make sure you purchase the Hasidic Tafsir too. Let me put that picture up. The because I'm teaching that now too. This is a picture of that for the new sister here. Can you see it? Did I show her? There. Get this book too. Can you see the picture? The Hasidic Tafsir, Volume 1. Because that class is tonight. I'll be teaching that tonight at 9:30. That book is $19.99 too. All of Sheikh Kareem's books are $19.99. They're worth more than that, but that's all he's selling them for. Ain't nobody trying to make no money off Islam. Like those other brothers and those sisters that's going around trying to get y'all to vote for these kafirs. They making money. They're paid for that. Sheikh Kareem ain't trying to make no money. Okay, so there it is. You guys see take the picture of it? Okay, I'm going to put it down now. Yeah, that's tonight at 9:30. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let me share my PowerPoint. We're going to break down why democracy is hard, why we are not democrats. As Muslims, we cannot support democracy. We cannot support Kala. You should not have been supporting Obama or any of those Democrats. And I'm going to show you why. And I'm probably going to. And by the way, for those of you who get angry, everything I teach is based on what Allah said and what the Prophet said with the understanding of the companions. I do not speak from my desires. Okay? It's not my fault that you have a problem accepting Allah's laws. And just to let you know, I ain't no heyday woman. There's no, I repeat, there's no real scholar. I'm talking the real ones, not the fake ones on this planet who will say what I'm teaching is wrong. Maybe your scholar will, because scholars here come a dime a dozen. Give me a dime. I'll show you 12 men that you made a scholar because he know how to pray a little bit better than you. Is he a scholar of the ulama? He may be your personal scholar, but is he a scholar of the ulama? No. None of the scholars of the ulama is going to disagree with anything I'm teaching because I back it all up with Quran and Hadith. Hasidic. My teachings are Hasidic. Look up the meaning of the word. Like Dr. Asim say, they can make fun of how you pronounce Arabic, but do they understand what the words mean like you do? So why do you care? Hello. Hasidic teaching. Okay. All right, let me share the PowerPoint. Let me switch this around. Oh, yeah. Are you ready? Yeah, the sister here said, oh, okay, yeah, for the children. Yeah, I got the kids here. Yes, for the kids, I want you kids to take screenshots. Have your parents take screenshots on the phone. With their telephone, okay? And you kids write this stuff down too. You have the PowerPoint, write down. If you kids have questions, be sure to ask me. You can ask me after class too. And by the way, Assalamu alaikum, Sarah. How are you? Yeah, I see your father told me to give you the greeting. And Amira. Sarah and Amira are here. Assalamu alaikum. They're from Sheikh Kareem's community. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Gave him my shout out. All right. Let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Is Brother Siddiqui here too? Brother Sadiq. By the way, for the moderators, Mina, are you here on YouTube? Yeah. Yeah. Brother Sadiqi's from Kareem's community, so make sure you don't ban him. I know Brother Siddiqui acts crazy sometimes, but he's a good guy. Yeah, he's really a good guy. All right. He's just silly. He's just silly. There he is. Wa alaikum salam, Brother Sadiq. How are you? I made sure that they don't ban you. He's from Sheikh Kareem's community. That's my brother from another mother. Yep, Brother Sadiq. Okay, so today we're going to break down democracy. Democracy in Wal Bara. Wal Bara. And why? As Muslims, you should never refer to yourself as a Democrat. First of all, as Muslims, we should never give ourselves non-Muslim titles anyway. You're a Muslim. You know, what are you referring to yourself with some political term, you know, like that? Well, let's talk about it. Hashtag talk about it. Okay, Sheikh Kareem begins this section with these two verses of the Quran. And by the way, I used these two verses yesterday too. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, do not let the believers take unbelievers as allies over believers. And whoever of you does that has nothing with Allah, except if you take precaution against them in prudence. First of all, like I said, when you look at the videos of some of these famous men who call themselves scholars, y'all listen to them. Y'all share their videos all over y'all Facebook pages. These brothers from out of Texas, they're in Texas. And you see these brothers marching with the LGBTQ community. You see them holding hands at coalitions with non-Muslim Muslim ministers and priests. The gay rights movement people, they're all holding hands and praying in the name of God, their God. And these men are participating, and the women too. You know, they're sitting there violating this. Allah is saying, don't take them as your allies, your friends, your helpers, your supporters. And then you hear these brothers say, oh, this person is my personal friend. Reverend Jake is my personal friend. And LGBTQ leader Helen, who also calls herself Harry Helena. Harry Helena is my best friend. We're not supposed to do that. Allah says anyone who does that has nothing with Allah. Subhanallah. Also, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, oh, you who have believed, that means those of us who claim we believe in Allah, do not even take your fathers or your brothers as allies if they have preferred disbelief over belief. Whoever does so, then, you know, you have the hate of Allah amongst you because they are the wrongdoers. You know, if we cannot take if I cannot take my father or my brother or my sister who is an enemy of Allah. And by the way, let's talk about the gay community. I'm sorry. Allah hates that. That's one of the top 10 commandments. Allah destroyed a whole nation of people for that sin. If I can't take my father who hates Islam, who hates the prophet as an ally, what makes you think I can sit here and say that Harry Helena is my friend and refer to her as her, him, he, she as my friend. And I sit there and march with them with the Rainbow Coalition. I carry a rainbow flag with them, or I'm standing next to them and they got the flag. And Harry Helena, is my ally. You're a wrongdoer. This is against Islam. The Prophet Muhammad didn't do that. You're not going to find any hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was walking and marching and formed a coalition with people who commit sin like that. You're not going to find any of the companions as Islam spread throughout the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, across the ocean to Spain, across the ocean to Africa. You're not going to find any of the Muslims supporting that crap either. In fact, you're not going to find any of the companions participating in non-Muslim elections because the Prophet told us that we can't do that. He was clear. He said non-Muslims can never be rulers over us. He said stay away from that. He told us to not get involved in the non-Muslims issues of that. Remember, he said the strongest handhold of faith is to love what Allah loves and to hate what Allah hates. In politics, as Muslims, the principles of allegiance and disassociation mandate for us to only endorse candidates and to only endorse platforms that resonate with our Islamic precepts and to distance ourselves from those platforms and from those candidates that defy our beliefs. You guys understand that? We cannot sit here and say because Obama is black, that's what you Muslims did. He played on you guys. You said because he's black, we're going to support him. Because he learned the Quran and apostated, we're going to support him. Okay? Because he's African Somali, but even though he's an apostate, you can't do that. Race, national allegiances, and all of that stuff is against Islam. Remember, our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, to the religion of Islam, and the Muslims, no matter what race they are. My allegiance is not to African Americans like that. My allegiance is not to a country like that. Okay? So again, guys, as Muslims, some of us live in communities where secular laws have replaced the Sharia. For example, don't think that this is a problem just for us in America. Believe it or not, in some of the Muslim countries, especially the Arabic countries like Jordan and other places, we don't get in their business. That's their business. But many of them have replaced the laws of Allah with laws that are similar to American laws. We know that. That's a reality. And also we have Muslims who live in non-Muslim countries where democracy reigns supreme. Okay? And democracy, as we're going to talk about tonight, contradicts Islamic values. And lastly, we have Muslims who are fortunate enough to live under governance that are aligned with Sharia laws. Okay, but that doesn't exist anymore. Saudi Arabia used to, but not anymore. So as Muslims, we are going to have to realize wherever we live, if something goes against our Islamic values, we distance ourselves. We don't take part in it. And so voting, because that's the issue today here in America, voting and other forms of activism, we don't get involved if it contradicts our ideology. And now I'm going to break down democracy. I love how Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid did this. Being a paralegal, he did a good job. Being an ex-union representative, he did an excellent job. Okay? Let's look at democracy. What is democracy? I'm going to explain what democracy is to everyone listening. Democracy is a system of government that puts sovereignty in the hands of the people. Democracy allows the people to appoint whoever they want to be their representatives, to be their leaders, and to make the laws. You know, we're going to do it through a vote, and the majority rules. Who do you like? Who do you like to be president of the union? One of the things I used to tell y'all about when I was working, you want to know how much the people like you? Have an election. You can be the best union steward on earth. Never lose a case. But the simple fact that you are Muslim, do you think they're going to put you in office? Subhanallah, have an election. They'll appoint into office a person that just got hired, that don't even know the laws of the land. They'll appoint them as the president over you. They'll make you a vice president. They'll make you the chief steward. But as far as giving you the power of president, they're not going to do that. Subhanallah, that's a fact that I've experienced. Subhanallah, oh, Laila's the best. I wouldn't want to be president anyway. But they would say Laila's the best, but don't put her as, let's just vote for her to be vice president. I was always landslided. All she won as vice president, landslide. Never president, even though I didn't want to be. But I never was a president because, oh no, she's Muslim. We'll bring in this person off the street, John Doe, who don't know nothing. And all he's going to do is let Layla lead him. He'll do whatever Layla say. So that's what democracy is. It's a system of government that puts the sovereignty or power in the hands of the people. Sovereignty means power. The people have the power. Power to the people. We vote for who we want, regardless of whether they're qualified or not. The person ain't got to be qualified. The person ain't got to be nobody. He can be a bad person. It's just majority rules. He's a popular person. Union elections are usually popularity contests. I used to always say that. Union elections are nothing but popularity contests. It's going to all fall on that one person that they know the truth. Okay? So how do we implement Wal Bara when it comes to democracy? Well, while democracy puts power in the vote, this is the total opposite of Islam. Allah teaches us that true power belongs to Allah. Only Allah has the power to change. Only Allah has the power to make things happen. So, in our system, you know, we don't go around appointing people based on popularity. We appoint people based on credentials of how well they understand the laws of Allah, how well they can enact the laws of Allah. Y'all understand that? So democracy is totally against Islam. The power is not in the people. The power is with Allah. First and foremost. Also, democratic government relies on the people's will. Okay? The people can make their own laws. Whatever laws you want. I want there to be a law saying that today on Fridays, people cannot wear purple because I don't like purple. Believe it or not, if everybody votes in a majority for it, on Friday, we don't wear purple. That's the law. In Islamic governance, Allah's laws in the Quran are what rules. Also, the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam rules. Okay, Islam is based on two sources, not the scholar views. That's why I don't never use them. Not the madhabs. I don't use that either. Islam is based on what Allah said and what the Prophet said, with the understanding of those companions, not the understanding of Ibn Taymiyyah, not the understanding of Imam Malik, the understanding of Ibn Abbas and those companions. Allah tells us, "O you who have believed, obey Allah and obey the messenger and those in authority amongst you." So, as Muslims, we are loyal to Allah's laws, whereas in democracy, they are loyal to whatever laws man makes, even if those laws are against Allah. For example, let's take America. Same-sex marriage, it is legalized. When Kareem Abu-Zayd wrote this book, it wasn't, but now it is. Obama, who you all voted for, he legalized same-sex marriage, and those famous speakers that y'all love to listen to in Texas, they helped get that passed. They said, well, you know, even though we have a problem with same-sex marriage, the good outweighs the evil, when they shouldn't have been participating in these elections at all. So your Muslim brethren helped get that same-sex marriage passed, okay? This would never work in an Islamic society, because same-sex marriage contradicts Allah's laws. We can never impose laws for us that go against the laws. Y'all see why democracy is the total opposite of Islam. Man doesn't have the power to make laws. That power is with Allah, and he already made the laws. We have to abide by them. And any other laws that we come up with have to be not in conflict with what Allah has. Okay? So, another problem with democracy. Democracy also attributes power, again, to the people exclusive of religion. And we're going to talk about that. But I want you guys to reflect on this verse. Allah says, "Blessed is he in whose hand is dominion." That means power. And he is over all things competent. Okay? As Muslims, our allegiance is only to Allah's laws, Allah's commandments. Whatever laws they impose for us in America, you have to abide by them. If you make those laws, you have to swear to uphold them. That Constitution, when you go into office, you swear to uphold that Constitution. In Islam, we don't swear to uphold anything but the laws of Allah. Okay? In democracy, the majority can vote to enact policies that are not aligned with Islamic teachings. In Islam, any policies that are not in line with our teachings is invalid. And let me share something with you guys. When I was a union steward, I put that in my contract. Oh yeah, I was on the negotiating team. I put in our contract any policies and any rules that management makes that contradicts our contract is null and void. Do y'all know it's still in there? That article in our Constitution of the union I was with is still there. And y'all know who put that in, Laila. I made darn sure I said any policies that management comes up with, any policies that the state comes up with that contradicts this contract is null and void. That's how Islam is. Any policies that we come up with, any rules or regulations that contradict that Quran is null and void. Does everybody understand? Also, democracies promote pluralism. What does that mean? We talked about pluralism. Democracies allow for different beliefs to come together and have a say. But in Islam, we don't allow that. Any belief system that contradicts La ilaha illallah, we disregard it. For example, a democracy in a democratic society. For example, America endorses freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want here, to the extent of even lying. You can even speak and lie. In an Islamic society, a liar is a serious offense. We can't lie. You can't slander. You can't say things that can't be proven in an Islamic society. Allah tells us in the Quran, you have your religion and I have mine. We're allowed to coexist in Islam, but pluralism is not endorsed. We allow the non-Muslims to live amongst us, and we live amongst them. But in a Muslim country, pluralism is not endorsed. Here in America, we're American Muslims. You have the freedom. They have the freedom to say whatever they want. There's nothing I can do to stop them, but I'm not going to endorse them either. I'm just going to distance myself. I'm not going to make no comments on that crap. They have the right to speak about how sex is good out of wedlock. They have the right to talk about the virtues of not getting married. But I'm not going to participate in that junk. I'm going to distance myself from that because that ideology totally contradicts what Allah says. Okay? This is what a person was speaking about yesterday. Yesterday, we had a brother join. He was from Kareem's community, I think. He asked, what about Caesar? Remember when he joined Mina? This is where he got that from. Remember that person that joined saying Caesar, typing about Caesar? Caesar? He was talking about this. Separation of religion and state. That's part of the American Constitution. America was formed free of religion. What does that mean? We can make any laws we want, and those laws are not based on religious belief. That's why the early settlers, Paul Revere, and the early colonists, this is why they broke off against England. They did not want England to rule America with the Christianity. This is why they broke off, and that's when Masonry began. Like I tell y'all, Paul Revere, George Washington, Jefferson, they were all Masons. Masons believe in separation of religion and state. America believes in that. That means the laws and policies and rules that are created are independent of religious doctrines. And that's why I don't understand how these famous brothers and sisters in Texas and stuff can sit there at a round table with these non-Muslims and agree to them passing laws and policies based on their desires, their beliefs that totally contradict religious doctrines. Allah tells us in the Quran, don't sit in the company of people who commit evil. Don't sit in the company of people who commit wrong. In Islamic government, religion and state are intertwined. Everything we do is based on our religious belief. The total opposite of democracy. Democracy believes in a separation of religion and state. That contradicts Islam. Everything begins with and ends with Allah. All of our laws, all of our policies are based on our religion. Does everybody understand that? Other problems with democracy. the legitimacy of its rulers. Democratic legitimacy comes from elections. Like I said, you can be a person that they just hired off the street who don't know anything about the laws of the state, but have an election. They'll vote for you because you look good or because you're popular. The same with the American elections, okay? The majority rules. But in Islam, you have to be qualified. You have to know the laws of the Quran. You have to know the Sunnah. You have to know, your religion. The Prophet Muhammad said, if you're not qualified, if you run for a public office and you're not qualified, Allah will leave you to yourself. If you beg for a public office and you are not qualified, Allah will leave you to yourself. But if the people come to you and ask you to be a ruler over them and you meet the credentials, Allah will help you in that. The companions turned down leadership positions if they felt they were not qualified. So democracy opposes that too. And also social contract. In democratic societies, the social contract is secular. Again, relying on man's agreements. But in our way of life, all of our agreements, even our marriage contracts, marriage is a contract. Everything is based on Allah's laws. Okay? And also in democracy, as your civic duty. They're telling you that's coming to your masjid. It's your, one of them will come to Layla and tell Layla it's her civic duty. Who said it's my civic duty? Did Allah say that, or have you blurred the lines? Do you consider yourself an American and not a Muslim? So be careful when these Muslims come to your masjid saying it's our civic duty to get out and vote. It's our civic duty. Brother, you've blurred the lines. So those are some, and there's many other, but these are some of the reasons as to why any Muslim that thinks that democracy is lawful, you're mistaken.